Well, we have a fun experiment today for everyone.
Do you want to play a game?
Yes, Diana, I want to play a game.
Ooh, well, good, because you invented this game. No. Tell me again what we're playing, Becky.
It's a storytelling game because we learned in our H-Files episode that just released that the best way to remember how to tell a story is with pictures, storyboarding it with images.
We decided to tell an amnesiac storyboard story. If you are to remember your story via pictures on your storyboard, what if you never knew the story to begin with?
Right? So Diana and I each created the most expertly drawn images and cards, and we're going to send them to each other in complete random order, and the other person has to make up a story.
I'm going to show the guests so that they can kind of get a sneak peek. Close your eyes, Becky.
Okay, all right.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Are they closed?
I'm closed. Yes, they're closed. They're closed.
These are the kind of things Becky's going to talk about.
I want to see. I want to see.
Nope, not yet. Not yet.
No.
All right. You ready?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Okay. I see a picture here. Okay, I can't tell if it's a flashlight or a penis. Does it matter?
Just tell the story, Becky.
It was a very dark night in a cave. Maureen needed her flashlight. She ventured down the slippery stone steps into the cavernous wasteland below. As she reached the depths of the cave, her flashlight shone upon 3 gravestones. Wow, that's surprising for their show. And she thought, how did they bury anybody in stone? That's a very good question. What if nobody's buried there at all? What if they're mock tombstones left over from a very sick party? Maureen, curious as to the tombstone's origins, went up and licked them, just to make sure they were real. To her surprise, they tasted like pool water, which was really surprising because she highly doubted the stream running through the cave was chlorinated. She sloshed beyond the chlorine-tasting tombstones, and to her surprise, she found what at first she thought was treasure, only later to realize it was only $1 and 3 1-cent coins, left over from a time before there were presidents. She wandered further into the cave and heard a dong, 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 dong. She was very confused. There was a clock that struck 4, even though the hands were on the 3 and the 12. This cave was getting weirder and weirder, and she began to wonder if she had fallen down the same rabbit hole that Alice ran into. We'll never know, because that, apparently, is the end of the story. No? Okay, sorry. User error. Okay. Oh, no, it's not the end of the story. Good for Maureen, because she's going to get stuck down there with a broken clock. She kept walking, and she came to a bridge that also looked like it could be a lemon wedge or an upside-down mouth over a waterfall of sludge. This doesn't seem chlorinated, she said. However, out of curiosity, she took a bite of the bridge, and sure enough, it tasted like a lemon drop. Maybe this hell isn't so bad after all. She continued to walk, and she began to see a light at the end of the tunnel, which was good because her flashlight was almost out of batteries. She knew she was near the cave entrance on the other side because she found a goose feather lying on the ground. Or maybe it was wheat, which wouldn't be good because Maureen was gluten-free. She assumed that it was a goose feather, however, and realized, should she never find her way out, she could at least use the quill to scratch her last thoughts on the cavern walls. In the distance, she heard a crackling. A fire! Oh, I must be near the end. There's people here, campers perhaps, or cavemen. Whatever. I can get warm, because that pool water next to those chlorinated gravestones sure was cold. Maroon walked toward the fire and discovered, unfortunately, a strange family of corn people. They were like people, but instead of heads of hair, they had heads of corn. They looked at Maureen. She thought, popcorn. They thought, Maureen. Unfortunately for Maureen, the corn people outnumbered her. They soon popped her over the fire and consumed her while they watched their favorite movie, Signs. Scene.
Good job. Dang, that was good. Oh my gosh, you're funny. Did you have that in mind, like the idea of Maureen in a cave before you started, or did you just go with that first picture?
I just went with that first picture that I thought was a penis, but you pointed out to me was actually a flashlight.
It must not have come through in full resolution.
So thank you, Diana, for helping me with that little story. I hope you all enjoyed it. Now, it's Diana's turn.
Now it's my turn.
Great, your turn.
This is a story about how I made a plan to abandon Earth and live on the International Space Station because I've grown tired of all of these anglerfish always hunting me, scavenging off of my leftovers, trying to take me down, to trick me, to fool me into thinking they're shining a bright light on me when really all they want to do is suck my soul out of my body. Ha, I thought, I'll show them. So I murdered everybody who relied on me with a kitchen knife so that I wouldn't have any earthly concerns left. That way I could be free to live on the space station with no regrets. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, family. It's time to go. Unfortunately, I didn't know that as the rocket was taking off, it would fly right into a pterodactyl, which got caught in the engines of the rocket, and the rocket started to sputter. Here I am, soaring above Earth. In a tin can, one of the rocket engines is burning. The smell of pterodactyl, leathery flesh is outside the rocket, so I can't smell it. But I know it's there. It's a good thing I packed so much cat food, or else I don't know what I'd do. I hope I make it to orbit. This is taking longer than I expected, I thought, as the rocket pushed its way into the stratosphere. So I pulled out my theremin, and I started playing the theme to Star Trek.
It's a key.
Oh, and I forgot. I actually do have the key to the International Space Station, I think. I checked my pockets. Oh shit. I left it on Earth. Now what do we do? I'm good with my hands. I could probably pick that lock. So I keep soaring. Up, up and away. The time has come. I put on my spacesuit. I open the door to the airlock. I step into the airlock, shut the door behind me. I'm tethered only by one thin cord to my spaceship. But unfortunately, the rocket is moving too slowly for me to get close enough, since that pterodactyl meat is still charring in that one booster. I can't turn the rocket to get close enough to the space station. I'm at the end of my tether. Reaching out, I can almost reach the door. And I realize I'm gonna have to cut the cord. I turn around, and I pull out the scissors, which were handily in one of the pockets of my spacesuit. Snip. There goes my last tie to planet Earth and safety. Think back about all the things that I could do in gravity, like playing on the playground. Swings and slides just wouldn't be the same in 0Gs. I mean, I could swing all the way around without a care in the world, without falling off. I think it's going to be better on the space station. But when I opened the door, which I did manage to pick the lock, thank goodness, I used the scissors to pick the lock. Got into the airlock, shut the airlock behind me, waited for the pressure to normalize, and opened the door. What I saw couldn't be any more horrifying. Every last astronaut on the space station was a pile of bones. They were all dead, and it looked like they'd been dead for decades. All I could see was clean picked white skulls grinning at me out of the darkness. And then I realized things don't just pick themselves clean. It was then that I turned around and I saw a super intelligent intergalactic pineapple. It started spinning. As the pineapple spun, the spines at the top of the pineapple whirled around, slicing into everything it passed, slicing through the side of the space station until the air was being sucked out of the space station in the sudden vacuum created by the slices of the pineapple's fronds. It spun and it approached me, spinning faster and faster. God, I love my new home. The end.
I liked that. That was a fun game. I'd
That
play
was
that game with
awesome.
you again.
Oh, well, that was a lot of fun.
YouTube world, what do you think? Would you watch more of this crap?
Because we'll do it.
Would you? We'll do it.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
Little anglerfish.
Thanks, Diana. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you for playing a game with me. Nobody even had to saw off any body parts. This is how we get subscribers. We lock you in a room and make you watch all of the videos you don't like. Clever, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of subscribers, if you dare, think about the story that would ensue if you click that subscribe button.
Squish that button. Do it. Do it. Do it. Thank you.
Goodbye.